Police arrest an armed 11-year-old boy for allegedly robbing a bus driver.
A huge deal, and the fact that it's a deadly weapon.
Investigators think this was part of a larger youth crime spree. Plus, the province wants to eliminate bike lanes from Calgary's major corridors.
That obviously causes traffic congestion and chaos.
The city and cyclists say there's no proof that's true. And good news for restaurant owners, more people are eating out. I mean, it's a huge relief. Diners cite the rising cost of groceries plus neighborhood loyalty.
Supporting local businesses is important for our Calgary economy.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Calgary police have made an arrest in an armed robbery. The suspect is accused of holding up a transit bus driver with a knife last night. It is the age of the accused offender that stands out, though. Police say he is just 11 years old. And that's not all. Investigators believe the same boy was involved in a liquor store robbery, too. Terry Fikowski joins us from the Earlton station where that driver was robbed. But Terry, the young suspect is not facing charges in either of these robberies.
Tara, the boy is accused of robbing the bus driver with a knife, but has been released back into the custody of his parents because anyone under the age of 12 cannot be charged under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. That's upsetting to the president of the union that represents transit employees, who says things here could have ended a lot worse. Now, according to Calgary police, the driver was parked here at the Earlton station around 11:45 last night when the young boy got on, took out a knife, and is accused of demanding to have the driver's phone. The suspect made off with some cash before running away with a group of teens who were waiting outside the bus. Police then tracked them down to 25th Street and McLeod Trail Southwest and took 3 youth into custody. They believe the group was behind a liquor store robbery earlier in the night along 11th Avenue Southwest, where a group of teens ran in, grabbed several bottles worth around $200. Now, the transit union says the situation reflects the state of transit safety and youth crime in Calgary, but commends the bus driver for de-escalating the situation.
This assailant, and he's an assailant regardless of his age, had covered his face and made sure that he showed the weapon when he was making his demands. And the operator, knowing that he's armed and anything could go wrong, continued to speak with the assailant and communicate a resolution to what could have been a deadly situation.
A 14-year-old girl is charged with shoplifting and failing to comply with a release order. Police say that charges are also pending against a 16-year-old girl in connection to the liquor store robbery. Tara, the union says that the driver returned to work this morning voluntarily.
Okay, Terry Fikowski reporting. Terry, thank you. A Calgary man has been charged with sexual assault after police say he met a woman through a dating app. The victim says she met the man online in November 2024 and later met in person at a restaurant. Police allege the woman went to the man's home where she was then sexually assaulted. She came forward this year. Nathaniel Mark Thompson has been charged and has a court date in September. Police are reminding Calgarians there is no time limit to report sexual assault in Canada. 5 people were injured in a pileup involving a stolen vehicle this afternoon. 4 vehicles were involved in the crash. Police say the white pickup was stolen. It started in Bowness when officers tried to pull the truck over. The driver took off, speeding down Crowchild Trail, Glenmore Trail, and 14th Street before the collision 20 minutes later. 5 people suffered minor injuries.
It shows that these people don't slow down. He obviously continued driving in a manner that put the public at risk and ultimately ended in a collision, and thankfully people weren't seriously hurt. We got very lucky today.
Charges are pending now against the driver of the truck. Calgary's bike lane battle isn't over despite a meeting between the mayor and Alberta's transportation minister. The minister still isn't ruling out using provincial legislation to remove existing lanes, despite the mayor saying a review is needed first. Tim Brooke has more on the back and forth.
A closed-door meeting between Calgary's mayor and Alberta's transportation minister has lowered the temperature, but the bike lane debate isn't over yet.
Right now, we're having these conversations with both Edmonton and Calgary and identifying bike lanes that obviously don't make sense.
Devin Dreeshen claims the lanes are creating traffic and making downtown parking difficult. He's yet to cite specific studies or data to back up his arguments.
For a city like ours that is growing by more than 250 people a day, you need to be very open to understanding how people are moving about the city and how they will be.
Jody Gondek says city officials are looking at Calgary's cycling network and open to making changes if they can be proven productive.
About 1% of our road network accommodates bike lanes. In some spots where people have expressed some challenges, it is possible to explore other solutions.
Dreeshen has previously hinted he wants both Calgary and Edmonton to take out certain lanes. He's still not ruling out forcing a move.
Obviously, provincial legislation is something that we'd consider.
After the meeting, the minister caught up with a handful of Calgarians protesting bike lanes.
They've actually caused a lot of congestion, reduced the number of available parking stalls in the city.
Cycling advocates dispute that claim.
Careful measurements were taken, and certainly the users of those facilities increased substantially, in many cases doubling, and no significant impact to commute times for drivers were measured.
Official reviews are likely coming soon. In the meantime, the mayor hopes no final decisions are passed down.
And Tim joins us now. Tim, there was a relevant court decision in Ontario today.
Yeah, that's right. Over in Ontario, Tara, another Conservative provincial government has weighed into this bike lane decision against a city's wishes. But in Ontario, a court has ruled that a provincial law that would remove 3 bike lanes in Toronto actually goes against the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And so those 3 lanes will stay in. I asked Alberta's transportation minister today if he was watching that decision come down and how that decision could influence his decision here. He wouldn't explicitly say, but did mention that he's pretty happy when other provinces pass these bills first so he can see what does and doesn't work.
Okay, Tim, thank you. More Albertans are picking up a menu over making a meal at home. That's according to data from Statistics Canada, analyzed by ATB Financial. Although an increase in restaurant sales is welcome, owners are serving up some cautious optimism. Stephanie Thomas reports.
Lucy opened its doors on 17th Avenue Southwest in April. Owners say bookings have been steady, partly because it's new, but also because more Albertans are dining out.
Well, it feels good for us and for the industry overall. It has been hard years, and now after COVID, things have improved.
Some people are definitely still feeling the effects of the pandemic. I think most of us are, but it's a huge relief to be where we are.
ATB Financial analyzed data from Statistics Canada. Compared to the first 5 months of 2024, year over year, restaurant sales in Alberta have grown by 5.2%. It gives the Boucher family confidence they expanded at the right time.
It doesn't matter what day of the week, has been Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, has been busy every day, so we definitely can see that.
The chief economist at ATB Financial says Alberta continues to see strong population growth. There's more local activity as Canadians limit travel abroad. But the pandemic and recent inflation crisis means that although there is growth, the starting point for hospitality was low.
It's still in some ways not back to normal for restaurants coming out of COVID. They've seen their costs go up. Consumers are still pretty cautious these days. Unemployment rate's elevated.
For restaurant patrons, getting an experience that can't be replaced at home is worth it.
Supporting local businesses is important for our Calgary economy.
But we do enjoy it. We enjoy the atmosphere. So when we can and when the kids are calm enough, we eat out as frequently as we can.
And Stephanie joins us from 17th Ave tonight. So what's the forecast heading into the fall, Stephanie?
Tara, the data we just talked about on the news was for the month of May. And as we know, it's a snapshot in time. Mark Parsons from ATB Financial says that there was strong attendance for the Calgary Stampede and for K-Days, not to mention the numerous international events that also draw lots of tourism to the province of Alberta. So according to his forecast, 2025 looks very strong for the remainder of the year for bars and restaurants.
Okay, thanks, Stephanie. There is no rate relief coming for Canadian borrowers, at least not yet. For the third time in a row, the Bank of Canada held its benchmark interest rate at 2.75%. The central bank says it's in a holding pattern until Prime Minister Mark Carney can get some clarity on whether the trade war with the U.S. is about to be over or about to escalate. Carney confirms today there is no deal yet. Amid the trade tiff with the U.S., premiers across the country are trying to break down trade barriers. But BC's wine producers say Alberta isn't playing fair. They call it a hidden tax that Alberta consumers are now having to pay since April 1st, and sales are being impacted. Tyson Fedor explains.
BC wine producers are accusing the Alberta government of playing hardball with its latest tax grab.
Our sales have dropped of people who want wine shipped to them in Alberta because when we explain the new tax, they're all really upset at their government.
Ron Kubek's small winery in the Okanagan bottles 3,200 cases a year. Many of his customers are from Alberta. But Kubek says the province is double dipping on its latest tax scheme.
Daniel Smith thinks it's important to gouge us and gouge the Alberta consumer versus helping to support Canada.
A $4.11 flat tax is added to every liter of wine sold in Alberta. For any bottle of wine that costs between $15 and $20, a 5% rate is applied. Between $20 and $25, a 10% tax is added. While any bottle more than $25, 15%.
So that's really impactful on folks who maybe come visit BC's wineries and want to ship a case back. You suddenly find the Alberta government expects you to pay an extra $50, $60 for something that did not go through the Alberta system.
Wine Growers of BC says Alberta is only making it more difficult for wineries and overtaxing its own residents.
Nobody does it like Alberta, right? And the frustrating part is we've explained this to them. We've had plenty of conversations with them, and they're just not listening.
We don't tax Alberta beef when it's coming across the border. We don't tax Alberta wheat when it's coming across the border, even though we do both of those in BC. We don't tax Alberta oil because we do oil in both areas.
Despite U.S. President Trump's potential 15% tariffs, Kuber says it's much more affordable to do business south of the border.
15% is still going to be cheaper for me to ship to the United States than to any other province in Canada. How does that make sense?
Well, the tax isn't helping Canada's wine industry. The province says the tax is meant to support the long-term viability of Alberta's liquor industry.
When it comes to the markup, I know Minister Nally's been working hard to make sure that we can find the right balance. Obviously, we want to be able to promote Alberta producers here in Alberta.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Now, the province adds that the direct-to-consumer agreement it has with BC ensures that BC wineries pay their fair share of the fees the province collects from liquor sales. It adds that the new tax levy applies to all wine sold in Alberta, not just BC wine.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Pretty gorgeous afternoon up there. Let's check in with Danielle. It seems like the perfect night to maybe do some outdoor grilling.
Oh, it's a perfect night to do anything outside, Tara. I mean, there are a lot of people that have been waiting quite a while for this type of weather. So we have the heat, we have the sunshine, we have a little bit of a breeze out here to kind of cool things down a little bit anyway. It's a wonderful day. 25 degrees is the current temperature. So as you can see by this, it's not excessive heat, but it's warm enough to be outside and enjoy it. It's really nice summer weather, to be honest. It'll be a little warmer for tomorrow, but not quite heat warning criteria, just below it for us here in Calgary. 28 degrees for our daytime high. The winds will pick up a little bit again later in the day tomorrow, and a whole lot of sunshine. Your full weekend forecast is coming up too, Tara.
Good stuff. Thanks, Danielle. The Canadian Air Force Snowbirds are back in our province. The team put on a great show over Edmonton late this afternoon. The captain says since there's no air show in Edmonton this year, they wanted to take the opportunity to show appreciation for the capital. The flyover Camrose tomorrow. They are unfortunately not coming to southern Alberta this time. A massive earthquake in Russia triggers a widespread tsunami warning. The world has been watching after one of the strongest recorded tremors and what it could produce a world away. Also, cheers and jeers. Reaction from last night's by-election forum featuring Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. If you have a news tip anytime, you can text us at 10400. Breaking news as the crisis in the Middle East continues to unfold. Prime Minister Mark Carney has confirmed plans for Canada to recognize the Palestinian state.
This intention is predicated on the Palestinian Authority's commitment to much-needed reforms, including commitments by the Palestinian Authority's President Abbas to fundamentally reform its governance, to hold general elections in 2026 in which Hamas can play no part, and to demilitarize the Palestinian state.
The move from the PM follows similar pledges from the UK and France, and as aid organizations warn of looming famine in the Gaza Strip during the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. Israel argues recognizing a Palestinian state in the wake of Hamas's October 7th attacks is rewarding the militant group. A sigh of relief from millions of people in coastal areas surrounding the Pacific Ocean, including British Columbia, where a tsunami threat has been declared over. But people who live there are being warned to prepare for the next big one. Dimitra Maragos reports.
Shockwaves from across the world. An 8.8 magnitude earthquake striking off the coast of Russia, threatening to impact British Columbia's shorelines.
This is, an opportunity for a full dress rehearsal.
Kelly Green, the Minister of Emergency Management and Climate Readiness, says British Columbians should not dismiss Wednesday morning's canceled tsunami advisory.
It was quite a significant region that was under the advisory.
Green explaining that officials initially expected waves up to a foot, but after tracking, reported waves between 15 and 27 centimeters across coastlines in BC.
Not massive, but does create a significant hazard in the currents if you're near the water.
This can happen again. We are on the Ring of Fire in the Pacific Oceans.
Brett Gilley, a professor of Earth, Ocean, and Atmospheric Science at the University of British Columbia, says smaller wave sizes could come down to terrain.
And this might be a result of exactly how the arrangement of the fault was and how the arrangement of the movement of the ground was.
But the region shouldn't expect this every time.
We've been lucky in this one that we didn't see a lot of heavy damage, but certainly with an earthquake of that size, it's definitely possible.
Both Green and Gilley agree that the province's alert system did what it was supposed to do, which is
helps alert people that they need to take action, avoiding low-lying coastal areas, things like marinas and other places near the water.
Green added that she's still waiting to speak to local governments and First Nations about the response, but did say, based on the communication she saw, it's a well-oiled machine. Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Vancouver.
The wildfire near Lytton, BC tripled in size overnight, and today word of another fire is adding to an already stressful situation. CTV's Michelle Bernoro is near Lytton with the latest.
The air here is thick with smoke. You see it, and then the moment you step outside, you can smell that smoke, a constant reminder of a fire that has area residents here anxious. Fire burning on the mountains about 10 kilometers south of Lytton. Helicopters flying over the tiny village.
A fire like this does something to a person. It gives you nightmares.
Rita Loring only now moving back to Lytton after the devastating fire here 4 years ago burned her home and most of the community.
The smoke settling in, it does make people really nervous around here and anxious.
The Cantilever Bar wildfire is now about 460 hectares in size. The fire has triggered evacuation alerts for 5 properties in the Thompson-Nicola Regional District and homes on nearby First Nations lands. And Wednesday, residents learned of another fire igniting nearby, but the BC Wildfire Service says it is only a spot fire and it is under control. Both fires are believed to be human-caused. BC Wildfire Service has dozens of firefighters battling this blaze. They say they are constantly reevaluating their resources to see if more are needed. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, near Lytton.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Let's bring Danielle back in now as we look ahead to our 5-day forecast. Can we eke out this heat for all 5 days?
No. But I will say for another couple days, things will be in place like this up until about Friday night. And then things change, unfortunately, for the weekend. Okay, I blend in with the map, so I might as well step out of the way here. 25 degrees is the high so far in Calgary. Today we may get to 26 before it quiets or calms down and quiets down and cools down for the night. 28 degrees, so high 20s in through Edmonton, Drumheller, Brooks, and Medicine Hat. Check out way up north though, Fort McMurray, Peace River, Grand Prairie, Jasper, 31 right now. So that heat will trickle down, and we are looking at some communities under this heat warning, and the criteria for the heat warning in Alberta, anywhere north of Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, is 2 consecutive days at 29 degrees or higher for a daytime high and overnight low at least 14, meaning no real relief even at night with regards to even if you open the window, you don't get any relief from the heat. So areas in this heat warning, Strathmore down to Vulcan, Champion over to Lowman, Brooks, Hanna, Empress, and up, because the next 2 days will be even hotter and the overnight lows will be warm enough that if you don't have air conditioning in your house, it'll be a little toasty even at nighttime. Okay, so we've had this instability build in, so basically pushing in from BC, but we have high pressure in place and we're very stable. So when it reaches our side of the mountains, it really just dies out. Pincher Creek, Crowsnest Pass for the next hour or so may see a little bit of activity, showers, maybe even a non-severe thunderstorm. But for the rest of southern Alberta, it's quiet, it's beautiful, it's sunny, it's dry. Okay, when we look at tonight, again, you can see the things quiet down even in the mountains, and then all sunshine for tomorrow. So it's a hot, dry day for tomorrow. And then later in the day, once again, in that same area, especially in the overnight hours, we have that little bit of instability building into potentially Pincher Creek, Crowsnest Pass, Waterton. Okay, but for the rest of the southern Alberta, it's just hot and dry right until Friday night. This is what builds in Friday night and will continue in through Saturday. So on and off rain, it will be heavy at times as well. So this weather pattern, this ridge of high pressure that's in place, will start to fall apart and move on out by Friday night. That means this, 28 degrees for tomorrow and for Friday as well. So a good amount of heat coming up here. A little bit of a breeze kicking in once again tomorrow afternoon. And then by Friday night, 3 to 7 millimeters of rain possible. And you can see cooler temperatures as we get into the weekend. Saturday rain, maybe even some embedded thunderstorms with 5 to 10 millimeters of rain possible. That's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast.
Signatures can now be collected for an approved referendum question. The question is, do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? Former Conservative MLA Thomas Lukaszuk is behind the initiative. Alberta's Chief Electoral Officer says because the question was approved before legislative changes to the Citizen Initiative Act, it will need to follow the old rules. That means over 293,000 signatures are needed to be gathered by October 28th. You can find more information at forever-canadian.ca. Last night, 10 of the more than 200 candidates, including federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, took to the stage to answer questions from constituents in Camrose. CTV's Connor Hogg was there.
Beautiful day. Thanks for coming out. Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre made a grand entrance in Camrose at the Battle River Crowfoot by-election forum. Many experts agree the race in the highly conservative riding is Poilievre's to lose.
My Alberta values taught me about faith, family, and freedom, hard work, helping your neighbors, and those values guided me to fight for the values of this region.
Poilievre's predecessor, Damien Kurek, resigned his seat so the federal leader could run after losing his own Ottawa-Carleton riding in April. Being an out-of-towner is something critics and other candidates are pouncing on.
I firmly believe that Mr. Poilievre is too busy with his own personal ambitions to give a rat's backside about us.
Anger was also directed at other interests impacting the race, including people from outside the riding.
Did you happen to notice how many hands actually went up when I asked how many people in the crowd could vote? Not very many.
And a group that's added hundreds of names to the ballot.
They're just trying to steal enough votes through all of them that they can wipe him out.
Some are asking how big of a victory Poilievre needs before his January leadership review.
If he beats me, are we doing this again in February?
Others are questioning the strength of Poilievre's campaign.
His confidence at running in the riding, if he has to bring in supporters, if he has to run in a riding that's the second biggest margin of victory in the country.
Despite the Conservatives' Get Out the Vote campaign, political scientist Laurie Williams says this race will likely be decided by who heads to the polls on the day.
It's a very busy time of year for farmers, ranchers, and those who provide goods and services.
By-election day in Battle River Crowfoot is August 18th. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Airdrie is getting $50 million from the province to build another wastewater pipeline to Calgary. Airdrie's population has ballooned by 25% in the last 3 years, and its current water infrastructure is struggling to keep up. The city gets its water from Calgary, and a new 7-kilometre pipeline will support 45,000 new homes and businesses. Airdrie now has more than 90,000 people living there.
It contributes to affordable housing, obviously providing more housing options. We already attract young families and great workers to our community. The projected economic return over the lifetime of this pipe is $45 billion. That's not just municipal, that's across the province.
The new pipeline will cost $114 million, and construction will start next year. A Canada-wide drug shortage has some patients worried. Those suffering with chronic pain say life has been unbearable with no alternatives available. And an Alberta artist is invited to showcase his work at a prestigious London show. That's still to come. The number of lab-confirmed E. coli cases linked to the Saskatchewan farm in Okotoks has now risen to 36. Alberta Health Services says 11 of those cases also tested positive for a parasitic infection and several norovirus and rotavirus. More than 230 people have reported falling ill after eating at the farm south of Calgary. As of yesterday, 3 people have been hospitalized. AHS expanded the exposure window from July 1st to the 18th. Food service facilities at the Saskatchewan farm will be closed until AHS deems it's safe to reopen. Health Canada is warning some prescription painkillers may not be available because of an ongoing drug shortage. While some people might be able to use alternatives, one Southern Alberta man says this leaves him in a dire position. Jacqueline Wilson explains.
It's very unbearable. It really is.
A workplace accident in 2020 left Tony Heimbrock with chronic pain.
I fell 14 feet onto the concrete floor.
Since then, the Okotoks man says he's developed chronic migraines and a heart issue. While working, he used 2 to 3 Percocets a day. Now, because of a drug shortage, he says he's holding on to his last 2 pills.
I just sort of keep very low-keyed and try not to do anything and participate in life anymore. And it shouldn't be that way.
It's not just in Alberta. Canada is experiencing a nationwide shortage of both acetaminophen with oxycodone and codeine from manufacturing distribution at Teva Canada Limited. Health Canada says the situation is expected to improve by mid-August, but supply constraints are expected to continue until the end of September.
It's really helpful for us if patients are on these products that they call us before they're completely out of their medication to give us a bit of time to figure it out. They shouldn't panic. There are some alternatives that can be figured out for them. It just might take a bit of time because pharmacies will need to talk to the physicians.
Unfortunately for Heimbrock, other health issues leave him unable to use most alternatives.
If they had known that there was a prescription shortage in that medication, then some people can get by on other pain medications.
Howden thinks more suppliers and better communication about shortages can help prevent situations like this in the future.
One thing that we are seeing trends in here in Canada over the last decade or more is more single source or only dual source products. And what that means is you get one shortage of one manufacturer and all of a sudden you have no product available.
Tony Heimbrock hopes to get access again soon so he can get back to a more active and pain-free life. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
Health Canada is warning people not to get the medications from unknown sources, websites, or other third parties. Well, you may know her for Pink Pony Club. Now Chapel Roan wants to get to know us on the prairies. Fans delighted by her shout out to Saskatchewan. We'll explain. Canmore artist is back from England, where one of his pieces was selected to be part of a major London exhibit. It's an international event where 350 artists from 60 countries are selected. They're all museum-level works of paintings, sculpture, photography, and mixed media. Here's Kevin Fleming.
He's a retired geologist, but has painted all his life. Now Stephen Bend has more time to explore his abstract art, but what he learned as a 4-year-old has stuck with him.
It was my aunt who corrected how I would hold the pencil, hold the paintbrush, and I remember telling me, you've got to load your paintbrush, and she even taught me how to put 2 or 3 colors on one paintbrush.
Ben submitted this piece that he painted for his wife Phyllis called Passion Ascending. He did it in secret over 5 months and says it's a celebration of their love and passion and being together for almost 46 years.
I had one interesting interaction with one of the curators, the lady, who said that, you know, this was one piece that really spoke to her.
The whole adventure was sparked by his son Christopher, who pushed Stephen to submit some of his work and share it with a larger audience than just family and friends.
He was producing such a quantity of high quality works that it was a shame to just have them sitting around the house. And so it originally started with just me sending him a few galleries on Instagram, really small ones, castings for artists.
Ben says he was filled with emotion when he learned his painting had been accepted into the London Art Biennale 2025.
The curators stated that they had 10,000 submissions and that their basic criteria was that all the pieces were going to be of museum quality, which means that, you know, they perhaps belong in a gallery in some way. So that was intimidating, and that held me back from submitting, and it was, again, because of Chris pushing and pushing and pushing.
Now Ben says he enjoyed attending the opening event in London so much that he's working on a piece to submit for next year's Biennale in Italy. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Canmore.
Ben says it takes him about 5 months to finish one of his abstract paintings. His website explains the meaning behind his pieces. We've posted a link to his work on our website. Beautiful stuff. Okay, fans of pop star Chappell Roan are eagerly awaiting the release of her latest single because it features a Canadian province.
I'm moving to Saskatchewan.
What? The Land of the Living Skies gets name dropped in her upcoming single Subway. A video teaser posted online shows her driving away in a truck featuring a Saskatchewan license plate. It's set to drop on Thursday, though fans are probably already familiar with it because she's been performing it live on tour and at festivals. So that's why people know that it's out there and that it's coming.
So yesterday we were talking about someone from Medicine Hat on the stage with
Katy Perry,
and then we have Chappell Roan. I mean, come on, we're country head, we're world
all
headlines.
Prairies all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, if you love roller coasters, this one's for you, but you really need to really love them. Oh my goodness. Thrill seekers looking for a 180 near vertical free fall will have to head to Gardaland, Italy. This is called Oblivion, the black hole, and it gives riders twists and turns with moments like this of weightlessness. The black hole is when you pass out from fear, I think is what happens. Right when you're dangling at the top, and then things go dark because you just pass out.
I would pass out. That looks a bit terrifying.
Yeah, that might be a bit much.
Yeah.
Finally, a delivery driver who's got a little bit of difficulty getting in and out of his van. This is Henry, the Amazon driver. He's a little slow getting in and out, but he always makes sure your package arrives on time.
Yeah, he's a little slower than the regular Amazon delivery.
He's pretty cute, though. I think if that guy showed up at your house, even if he was delayed a couple of hours, you'd be okay.
Yeah, that's adorable.
That's
those little packages.
Probably full of cheese. The Bank of Canada is holding the line on lending rates, but it's leaving the door open to future cuts, even as the Trump trade war continues. Stay with us.
All right, well, your Skywatch weather camera showing, maybe a little bit of cloud cover. We have a little breeze. It's a beautiful day out there. Not too hot, not too cold. Pretty much where we should be. We're going to get a little warmer out there for tomorrow. In fact, all communities will be hot tomorrow and for Friday as well. 25 degrees current temperature and the daytime high. Normal is 24, where we should be. Now, just up to the east of Calgary, Strathmore down to Vulcan, Champion over to Lowman, Brooks, Hannah. These areas are under a heat warning because for the next 2 days, we're looking at daytime highs at least 29 and overnight lows at least 14. And so they meet the heat warning criteria. However, it will be hot everywhere. Let's talk about what we have with regards to activity. So closer to north of Banff, there is some active weather, but again, most of it is dying out as it reaches Alberta because it is so stable here. But closer to the mountains, we do have the risk of thunderstorm activity and even that more severe thunderstorm activity for the next hour or so. All right, this is your Action Furnace 24-hour forecast. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. Now, we had a little bit of a windy afternoon. We're looking at the winds picking up again tomorrow afternoon, even maybe some fog patches developing overnight and through early tomorrow morning. But basically, you're looking at a lot of sunshine and some heat building in. So into the 30s for Salmon Arm, Kamloops, Kelowna, even Edmonton and all the north in the 30s for tomorrow. High 20s, Olds and through Calgary, Drumheller, down through Lethbridge. Medicine Hat will likely crack that 30-degree mark for tomorrow. Again, a whole lot of sunshine, just a little unstable right up against the mountains. Okay, 10-day trend showing you hot for the next couple of days. By Friday night, a system rolls in and that will cool our temperatures down for the weekend and bring a decent rainfall once again, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Calgary's mayor is calling a bike lane conversation with Alberta's transportation minister productive, but admits some lanes could be removed. Devin Dreeshen claims some bike lanes are creating traffic problems and making downtown parking more difficult. He's not ruling out using provincial legislation to change the city's roads. More Albertans are dining out again. Restaurant sales are up by more than 5% this year. It's attributed partly to more Canadians staycationing. And Calgary police say an 11-year-old boy has been arrested after he allegedly held up a bus driver with a knife last night. They say the young suspect demanded the driver's phone at the Earlton station and that the same boy may have been involved in a liquor store robbery earlier. Two teens in Edmonton are facing charges after police say they threw objects off a pedestrian bridge onto oncoming traffic, and at least one vehicle was struck. It wasn't police who caught them, though. A driver who had his windshield smashed got out of his vehicle and detained the pair. A 14-year-old boy and a 13-year-old girl are now charged with assault with a weapon and mischief. The incident happened last Friday near the city's funicular pedestrian bridge. Police are encouraging any other victims or witnesses to come forward. Thousands of fans gathered in Birmingham, England today to say a final farewell to Ozzy Osbourne. His wife Sharon, supported by their children, laid flowers at the Black Sabbath Bridge. The family seemed quite moved by the support. Ozzy was brought through the streets of his home city a week after passing away at the age of 76. The Prince of Darkness, as he is known, spent years battling Parkinson's and a spinal injury. He's being laid to rest in a private family funeral. The Bank of Canada is leaving the interest rate as is, saying economic uncertainty is still high as a result of American tariffs. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez.
The Bank of Canada left the key interest rate at 2.75% and outlined a few reasons why. Tiff Macklem says there are still too many unknowns, and as long as tariffs stay in place, the economy will operate less efficiently. But he does predict GDP to grow by 1% in the last half of the year. The governor did share some other good news, saying the consequences of the tariffs are less severe than feared, and consumer and business sentiment is improving. Here's how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar down today to 72.27. West Texas Intermediate is up to $70 even. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up over $2 to 56.42. And the TSX dropped 169 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
There are a lot of rules in the game of golf, and sometimes knowing what your options are can save you a few strokes. That's next.
Especially up and close to him. Lucas hits one to deep right field. A three-run homer.
And that three-run homer was the difference maker as the Toronto Blue Jays avoid the sweep against Baltimore after the Orioles outscored Toronto 30-10 in the first 3 games this week. The Jays pick up the 9-8 win this afternoon. Toronto is now tied with Detroit for the best record in baseball. The Jays are back home Friday against the Kansas City Royals. Canada's Summer McIntosh has cruised into the finals of the 200-meter butterfly at the World Swimming Championships in Singapore.
McIntosh has responded to the challenge there of the American, and look at a glide past. It is McIntosh who's going to win it. Smith will be in second place, and in third it was Ellen Walsh.
McIntosh won easily. She will try for her 3rd gold medal of the competition in the final. The Canadian swimming superstar is hoping to win a total of 5 gold medals at these events. If you're going to play golf, you should know the rules. Glenn Campbell has a helpful tip from Scott Orban.
Mackenzie Meadows Golf Tips with PGA Pro Scott Orban.
9th hole, Mackenzie Meadows hit it a little bit too long on the cart path.
Don't pick it up. Don't pick it up. What? A lot of people make a mistake. They see it on the cart path, they go pick it up, and then they make their decision afterwards. All right, so make your decision before. You always see this on the PGA Tour. So where would you drop it, Glenn?
Probably here, probably there, no closer to the hole.
9th hole's over there.
Yeah, so probably back this way, I would think.
Yeah, so if you're going that way, you're going to have to get these out of the way. So you'd be way over here. Yeah, that'd be out of the way. Pretty far from the hole. But your other option would be back here. All right, you get your stance. You get to take your stance and make a swing. So we're going to put a tee in the ground like they do. And I'm just going to throw a ball down here where it would be, just so people can see this. And that's about 1, 2, 3 and a little bit yards away. Now, most people don't go to that side, and you didn't.
Well, it looks like it's closer to the hole, doesn't it?
Yeah, but at that angle, it's not. So if I go back this way, and I go 1, 2, and you can see my 3rd is way out here. So as long as I'm inside of that, I can put it here, and then take my stance. So this is closer to the ball, nearest point of relief, than to that one back there.
Right.
Right? And 9th hole's over there, so I'm not closer to the hole now than your original shot, and that's why we need to leave that ball there to figure it out. So then, once I determine that, I got 1 club length to drop.
Right.
So now I'm gonna come over here, pick up your ball, since we're a scramble park team, and I'm gonna set this down, take my little drop. That's within a club length.
You're ready to roll.
And I got a good lie. I've got nothing in my way. And let's hit this shot, and let's go get a birdie.
Let's do it. Oh, good shot. Know the rules, right? Know the rules.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, take advantage.
A summer attraction that tours across Canada is landing in Calgary next month. The Big Bounce is an inflatable park that includes several giant bouncy castles, an obstacle course, and slides. It'll be at Spruce Meadows on August 9th, 10th, 15th, and 17th. Tickets are sold in sessions that cater to different age groups, including toddlers, juniors, bigger kids, and adults.
Tara, I think you are more excited or just as excited as my kids.
I keep sending you information for that. I think every kid on the planet would want to do that.
Yes, we're all going, that's for sure. And it depends on when you go. You may get some good weather. So let's talk about this forecast here, because I really hope you get to enjoy the sunshine while we have it, because we haven't had a ton of it over this past month. So we're wrapping up the month with sunshine, which is good news considering all the rain we had. It may get a little windy later in the day tomorrow, and early in the morning tomorrow there may be a couple fog patches, but overall the bulk of the day, lots of sunshine, a high of 28. The rain kicks in Friday night, on and off rain Friday night in through Saturday, and likely even through parts of Sunday. That will cool our temperatures down, and as you can see, a decent amount of rain coming once again in total Friday night through Sunday. We're looking at getting about 15+ millimeters of rain. Yes, I know. Okay, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. Ron Jeffrey sent this in. He says, a perfect day in Banff. And I would say there's probably a lot of people saying a perfect day out there today in all of southern Alberta, because a lot of rain has been happening.
Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.